Why some courts are acting like the right to bear arms is not constitutionally protected, and it's a politician who's taking a stand for that right that's on the program tonight. It's part of our week-long series, Second Amendment Under Fire. Grab your guns. Perhaps the only American value more under siege than capitalism right now is the Second Amendment to our Constitution. That's the right to bear arms. From a Supreme Court case that would redefine how we interpret the amendment to a handgun case here in New York City where, I'm not kidding you, lawyers for Mayor Bloomberg have asked the judge to ban any reference to the term Second Amendment, a right endowed on us by our Creator. And it is under fire like never before. This Saturday, I am honored to be giving the keynote address at the NRA's annual meeting in Louisville, Kentucky. And as we lead up to that, I'll be having a different Second Amendment advocate on every night. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say Second Amendment advocate anymore, but we'll have one all week long and their perspective on guns in America. Tonight, I'm pleased to welcome Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal. Governor, you are actually the guy that led the campaign in Congress to make sure that no one could ever seize your gun, which people who say, oh, please, you people in the NRA, you need to relax, it actually happened in your state.
That's exactly right, Glenn. Thank you for having me on. And by the way, I think the First Amendment protects your right to talk about the Second Amendment. So hopefully
Yes.
You won't get in trouble for talking about this very important American right. People are shocked. Even some Second Amendment supporters couldn't believe what happened in New Orleans after Katrina in 2005. Over 1,000 guns were confiscated from law-abiding legal gun owners. Now think about that. Wayne LaPierre said it best. He came down here and said it was the first time in America's history that the government, through the use of force, confiscated guns from law-abiding citizens. Never happened before in the history of our country.
Governor, I have to tell you, you know what is amazing to me is that the media never covered this. This was buried. Everybody always says, oh, please, no one's coming for your gun. They did, and at a time when the citizens needed them more than ever.
That's exactly right. It happened over 1,000 times. Our first responders did a great job, but they couldn't be on every block, at every house, at every moment. Now, think about it. You're in your home. It is hot. Your windows are open. You don't have electricity. You don't have air. There are rumors or reports of strangers, of people going around looting. People literally put up signs saying, if you loot, we'll shoot. And then all of a sudden, the people that are supposed to be defending you, helping you, many of these actually turn out to come and take away your legally owned gun. There were stories, man protecting his generator. He had his grandchild with him. People came at him with a machete. He used his gun to scare them away. You had another report, a business owner had his legally owned gun taken away from him. He had protected his business successfully after the storms. After the gun was gone, couldn't protect his business anymore.
You know, I tell you, Governor, I wonder, because I've wondered this myself. I wondered if the cops would ever do that. You know, in my town, I've thought, you know what, I like all these police officers, and I can't imagine that they would. They know the Constitution. I've wondered that, and this clearly answers that question, that yes, they would do that. And I've also wondered how many people would stand on their porch and say, out of my cold, dead hands. You didn't have either of those scenarios play out in the way you would think they would in America.
Well, NRA's got some very shocking video. You can see literally a grandmother forced to the ground before her gun was taken away from her. You can see that on their website. I will say this, I was very pleased. I did sponsor a bill in Congress. The Fraternal Order of Police endorsed our legislation to say never again, that you don't lose your Second Amendment rights just because there's been a storm. Like you said, then more than ever, when you don't have the ability to call 911, the normal rules aren't being enforced just because of all the chaos and the disruption, then more than ever, you need to be able to defend yourself, your property, your family, your business. I was very proud the law enforcement agencies endorsed this. They said this is an appropriate thing. You had a lot of naysayers on the House floor come up with just bizarre scenarios that didn't happen in real life. The police organization said, no, this makes sense. They endorsed it. We also passed a bill like this at the state level as well.
I only have about 20 seconds. What happened after they took the guns? Did crime get better or worse after they took the guns out of the hands of the citizens?
Examples after examples of people who had successfully defended themselves, then were victims of looters. And I will say this, they had to fight long and hard to get those 1,000 guns back. They didn't just immediately give them back once the storm was done.
Governor, thank you very much. Now,
Thank
a special part of our Second Amendment series, we'll have commentary from different kinds of gun rights advocates every day in my free email newsletter. You can sign up right now at glennbeck.com. You'll get the first commentary tomorrow from Wayne LaPierre. He's the Chief Executive Officer for the NRA. That and more all this week in my free email newsletter. You can sign up now at glennbeck.com.